thank you for joining me on this, the 11th episode at CoffeeNate.com. And this week we are featuring Speakeasy Coffee. There's 3 blends here that I have ordered: Ethiopian Harar, Costa Rican, and the Mixpresso. And for today's show, we're talking about the Ethiopian Harar. And first, I take my giant whiff of the beans. Okay, the ceremonial whiff. There is a huge floral scent in these beans with a fruit, kind of like it's like a tropical fruit, and very aromatic, very perfumey, light, summery smelling, and the flavor displays those scent traits as well. And when you taste, also when I smell that, I get like, it reminds me of the Good and Plenty's. I don't know if you remember those candies from when you were a kid. I thought they were disgusting, but anyway, it's an interesting smell. It's a lighter roast, so it gives you more of the varietal flavor, so you can taste the origin, the characteristics of the origin come out more in the lighter roast than it does in the darker roast. It's very mildly acidic. There's just a light crispness on the tongue, and the finish is slightly tart, but not drawn out. It's a lighter taste. It has more of a earthy vegetable type of a tone to it. That's, like vegetable juice kind of a feel to it, and medium bodied, and is an excellent coffee. And the packaging is simple, but it doesn't really matter when you're talking about, it's just in paper bags, right? Wax paper bags. It doesn't matter, because with Speakeasy, it's roasted to order. So these beans were roasted the day before that they were sent. You receive them in 3 days. They're not even good to drink until the 4th day. So as the beans degas, they're shipping. Okay, so as they're on their way to you, they're getting to their premium tasting period. So you don't really have to worry about, oh, it's not in a sealed bag, whatever. The beans are allowed to breathe, and exposure to oxygen in the first few days after they're roasted is not an issue. With beans that you see an expiration date on the package, and it's usually like 6 months into the future, those are the beans that need to be sealed in airtight packaging, because obviously they're going stale and they need to be kept as fresh as possible. So be sure to check out their website. It is www.speakeasycoffee.ca, not .com.ca. They are based in Southern Ontario, and you'll be able to order, no matter where you live in North America. They ship to the US and Canada, and the price point comes to, if you order 5 pounds with shipping, for $13 a pound. So very reasonable, and roasted to order, excellent coffees. You can also follow them on Twitter at Speakeasy Coffee. Last week I've been experimenting with various methods of what is cold brewing coffee. I'm not speaking of brewing coffee in your coffee pot or with your French press and then making it cold and then using it for iced coffee. I'm talking about cold brewing with cold water. Okay, you look around, you see all kinds of different whacked out ideas out there. Some people say you should brew it in milk, and I've tried that. It's slightly disgusting. Others say you should brew at room temperature, and yet others will say brew in the fridge with cold water. And you'll see all kinds of people on different ends of the spectrum as far as amounts of coffee to use and what types of a grind. Some say to use fine grind, some say to use coarse grind, some say to use in the middle. So I've experimented with all these. That's another reason for the delay on the video is you're talking a 16-hour lag time in between each method because I just don't have enough room in my refrigerator to do all of them at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to show you which method I found to be the best and the simplest and produces the best taste according to my findings. You start with a cup and a half of medium grind coffee. For this purpose, I've used the Nespresso. It's a full city roast, and I like to use. Well, I always like dark roast. You know, that's not really a secret or anything. But for iced coffee, especially, I like to have that distinct coffee flavor come through, and the darker roasts allow that to happen. And so, go ahead and add your cup and a half of ground coffee. This was freshly ground just prior to this video. Cup and a half. It's quite a bit more. It's probably about 50% more than what you would use when you're brewing with hot water. The cold water isn't going to extract as much of the oils. Actually, it won't extract much of the oil at all. And the cold brew produces a less acidic flavor, and it's easier on your system if you have sensitivity to that. And then add your cold water. Don't use hot water, or don't use warm water either. With your spoon, stir it up, make sure that all of the grounds get fully saturated in the water. It's kind of disgusting, actually. Just give it a good stir. Nice. Alright, good enough. And you insert, you do it right in the French press, that way it eliminates some straining afterwards. You can do it in a jar if you wish. You can do it in a mason jar, whatever. This is a 32-ounce brewer, so just adjust your measurement of coffee accordingly. But you'll have to strain it either through a coffee filter if you must, or through cheesecloth, or a fine metal strainer to take out the grounds after you're done. Okay, I like to push the plunger down slightly so that all of the grounds are saturated in the water and so they get properly extracted. Okay, so you're going to put that right in your fridge. Leave it there for 12 to 16 hours. I've also included a couple of recipes at the bottom of the screen for some iced coffee drinks. Through the wonders of modern technology, all this stuff has magically appeared before me. Okay, I've made 2 batches of iced coffee ahead of time. There's the concentrate here, and I also took 1 batch and used it to make ice cubes. This way, when the cubes are melting in your drink, it's not diluting it and making it watery and watering it down. So you can go ahead and add these. If you want to, you can do this in a blender, and it makes more of a granita type of a base. Some more slushy. Add some half and half. And I'll also include an adult version, which is pretty good with Kahlua and Irish cream. Some Starbucks coffee liqueur. There you go. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Enjoy. Iced coffee at its finest. Be sure to get your questions in. Happy to answer any questions you may have, and you'll be entered into the contest for some free coffee. Keep the comments rolling in. Lots of comments this week. Glad to see it, and I'll always respond to anything that you put out there. So don't be afraid, don't be shy. And be sure to follow me also on Twitter at CoffeeNate. And you can also find us on Facebook, CoffeeNate fan page. The links are at the top of this page. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you again at CoffeeNate.com, where there's always something brewing, even if it's cold brewing.